Hello, welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we're not making soap, we're going to make bath bombs. And I love making bath bombs. They're so fun and relatively easy. Bath bombs can be kind of fiddly depending on how humid your environment is. There's those factors, and we'll talk about that more as we get into making this and the ingredients. I'll share the recipe I'm using today down in the description box, which is the little highlighted more button. And if you're having trouble finding my information, let me know and I can start linking it in the comments section. I've seen a lot of YouTubers doing that, and maybe I need to get in on that. So let me know if you have trouble finding the information that I'm leaving you. I would love to hear back from you all. Let's talk about the bath bombs. The fragrance today, I made a soap, a little snowflake soap using this fragrance, and it's so good, and I think it just evokes all the sort of winter vibes. It's potpourri kind of smelling. It's applejack peel. This one's from Nature's Garden. It has fruity notes. It has some musk in the bottom, a little vanilla, a little cream. It's just so good, and it behaves well in soap, and it smells great in bath bombs. And so today for the bath bomb, we're going to do just a white. I'll add a little bit of my white champagne mica into the base, just so it has a little sparkle, a little white, you know, pretty winter. And then when they're all done and dried, I want to do a little bit of mica drizzle in some red and green, and really just go with the holiday sort of theme-ish, winter, all that. So we'll do some drizzle after these are dried and ready to go. Let me show you the molds I'm going to use today. So with the mica drizzle and or painting, mica painting, I am going to use one of my molds here, which I love. I got this mold from Be Scented. It is a little flower. Now, to me, you know, it's like a little daisy flower, but we're going to paint it red and call it a poinsettia. Okay, roll with me. I don't have a poinsettia mold. We're going to call this a poinsettia. So we'll do a couple of these, and then I have just a regular, again from Be Scented, a regular just round mold for a classic round bath bomb. Can't go wrong with that, right? So those will be the molds I'm using today. I do have a little hand press to press these, but I'll do a couple by hand and show you. You don't need a special equipment or anything. I don't have a big hydraulic bath bomb press that a lot of, you know, makers do, because I am not selling soap or bath bombs anymore. I don't sell retail. I don't have the big equipment. So it's just you and me in the studio doing things the simple way. So there it is. That's the plan for today. Let me get everything pulled together, get my work surface cleaned and sanitized, and let's come back and make some holiday, Christmas, winter inspired bath bombs. And I did want to remind you, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do hit that button so you don't miss anything going on in the studio. All right, we are back with our very simple bath bomb ingredients. Let me show you. I already have them pre-measured. It's 3 powder ingredients and 2 wet ingredients. And you could make this more complicated if you want, but today we're going super simple. I think this would be such a fun project to do with little people if they want to make gifts for teachers or friends or something. It's so simple today. So let's talk about it. We've got 19.2 ounces or 544 grams of baking soda, and I just get these big bags of baking soda at like Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart. Just your basic baking soda. And then to this, my other dry ingredient is 4.8 ounces or 136 grams of cornstarch, which is readily available at any grocery store, super inexpensive. You could use tapioca starch, you could use arrowroot powder, kale and clay, any mix of the above, but today we're going super inexpensive, super basic. So cornstarch is the other dry ingredient. And then after I get those blended with the wet ingredients, I'm going to add, my citric acid. And I have 9.6 ounces or 272 grams of citric acid. I get this on Amazon. It's relatively inexpensive. And this is what's going to react with baking soda to make the fizz in your bath bomb. Citric acid is the key. So that is it. Oh, no, that's not it. So that's the dry ingredients, and the wet ingredients, I have 20 milliliters of fragrance, that applejack peel, and 12 milliliters of water. And so that is the wet ingredients here. And if I need to add more wet, I have a spritzer bottle of isopropyl alcohol that I'll mist if it's not clinging together well. If this is too wet, I will add a little more baking soda. So that is how you can adjust this to get it the right consistency to mold. So the first thing we need to do is get this baking soda specifically, because it's clumpy, sifted through here. I want everything nice and dusty, powdery, so that we don't have any clumps. So I've got to sift this through. This recipe is just the super distilled, basic bath bomb recipe. My typical recipe that I like to do has, kale and clay and SLSA for bubbles, and so you can get bath bomb recipes that are super fancy. You can even melt some butters in there and oils for a more luxurious feel. But this, I'm just going for the fizz and the fun factor. Sometimes simple is best, you know? So just working out all these little lumps and bumps in the baking soda, and now I'm gonna go ahead and run my cornstarch through here, make sure there's no clumps in there. Bath bombs are such a fun project to do with new makers or young makers, because you're not working with any caustic materials, and they're simple and fun. And if the batter is, you can tweak it, you know what I'm trying to say. If it's too wet, you can add ingredients. There's really like a no-fail factor, I think, to bath bombs. And even if they crack and come out funny looking, you still get a fun bath bomb. I will talk about that later, but there are things you can do with a failed batch of bath bombs, so it's never even a waste. Even if they don't hold together their form well, you can still work with them. There is the cornstarch, baking soda, easy peasy. Just giving a little stir here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and dump in my wet ingredients. You can have your citric acid in here already. Some people do, and they just add their liquid real slow. I just don't want the citric acid to activate, so I like to add it before I add in the citric acid. That way I'm not worried about the liquid ingredients activating the fizzy factor. It's not the end of the world if it does a little bit too, you know what I'm saying? Again, easy peasy. But this just makes, for me, it simplifies it. I don't have to add it in super slow drizzly so that it doesn't activate the baking soda, citric acid. I want all the fizziness to go in the bathtub, not in this bowl. Look at that beautiful bright color. Oh yeah. I'm sitting here doing this and I'm realizing I was supposed to add some mica in here. This will be the time to add our mica colorant. Or if you have a liquid dye colorant, add that to your little liquid portion. I'm going to use a mica today in here just to add a little shimmer. So after I get this blended, I'm going to go grab my mica and then we'll throw our citric acid in here. This is feeling a little dry to me, so I might even add a touch more water, as well as misting with rubbing alcohol, because it's dry and I haven't even added the citric acid yet. So we'll just play it by ear. Also, this time of year when I am making this, it is drier in my basement. If I make bath bombs in the middle of summer in Middle Tennessee, when the humidity is high, if you live in Florida, if you're a Florida maker, or Alabama or Georgia or South Carolina, any of these lower southern states that get super humid, you will need less liquid in your bath bomb. It actually, just the environmental moisture will affect how they hold together. All those things are a factor. So in other words, if you live in a southern state and you get a recipe from somebody who lives in Colorado or Utah, their recipe might be a little different than yours. All right, let me clap my hands off and go get some sparkly mica. I'll be right back. All right, I can't even remember what I did in the intro, but I just pulled shimmer white mica. I hope that's the one I showed in the beginning. It might have been the sparkle mica, but I'm just gonna do this, and it is a white, but it's got a little sparkle. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. And I'm going to throw in, this is a baby spoon. That is about 1 teaspoon of mica. All right, let me work that in. If you wanted to do multicolor bath bombs, after you add the citric acid, you can just split this in half, color half, and do swirly little bombs in the mold. I mean, that's always fun. I've done multicolor bombs before. So easy to do. And the nice thing about bath bombs is you just need a couple days for them to dry out. There's no weeks-long curing time. Like with candles, they should cure for a week or so. Soaps, 4 to 6 weeks. I like to do it, and that's a debatable thing. Some people can do a steep water discount and have their soaps ready sooner, but the point I'm making is if you need last-minute gifts, these are awesome. Just a couple days to dry out, you're good to go. Here goes the citric acid. Now that all the wet ingredients are fully blended, it's not going to activate this. I'm going to get this blended up and give it a feel, but this is feeling pretty dry to me. So I think we're going to go ahead and add a little more liquid in here. I'll give it a pinch test and see though. It's just nice and loamy. It's kind of like damp, barely damp sand. So I'm going to take a little handful, give it a squeeze, and it's breaking apart. This is too dry. So this is my spritzer that I use on top of my soap when I pour it, and I spritz my soap stamp. It is 91% rubbing alcohol. You could use 70%, you could use 99%, you could use water. Witch hazel. When I make my other bath bombs, I use witch hazel because it has great skin benefits. Today, this is what I'm using to wet this down. So I'm just going to mist the top here a little, and I'm going to blend it, and we'll see how it goes, just a little at a time. I'd rather go slow adding liquid than add too much and then have to add the baking soda and all that. So the rule, a loose rule of thumb with bath bombs when you're making them is whatever baking soda amount you're using, use about half of that in citric acid to get the nice fizzy effect. So that is sort of a loose ratio to go for if you're making your own recipe up or you're needing to tweak this one. So half of the baking soda in citric acid and you'll get a nice fizzy. All right, let's give it another pinch test here. It's still really loamy. Okay, it's holding together a little better, and I'm bouncing it. It's falling apart a little. Gosh, this is tough. I'm going to add just a touch more. And this mixing part, this is what the kids love. Get their hands in here, put them in some little gloves and let them just mix and mix. You cannot over mix this. I guess if you mixed it for too long, it would start to dry out again, but really, you can't mess this up, and this is where kids have fun. It's like playing in a sand pile. So it's hard for me to say how much rubbing alcohol is coming out in the pump on this. It has a nice mist, and I'm probably squeezing 4 or 5 times every time I'm coming into wet. I don't know what volume that is. It's just a, a field test. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. It's not complicated. I don't want to make it sound, fancy or complicated. It's really not. One more time, and we can just keep doing this as many times as we need to get it to the right consistency. There we go. So it's holding together, but it's still nice and loamy. I am happy with this. We are going to call this done. Love, love, love. And let me just say, it smells very beautiful in here. I also want to say, when you're factoring in your fragrance oil, so I measured in milliliters because I have a little pipette and that was easy. You can go a little on the generous side with bath bombs because one of these bath bombs is going to be dispersed in an entire tub of water, so that's going to dilute it a lot. So it's very forgiving with fragrance load. If you want to make a nice strong scented bath bomb, you can do that. Keep my rubbing alcohol off to the side in case this dries out a little and I need to spritz again. Okay, so I have a tray here. So when I press my little flowers and balls, I'm going to put them on here. And these are actually bath bomb molds. You can make little teeny bath bombs that are so cute. If I have leftover there, if you have an odd bit left, you can make a little teeny bath bomb. I love it. Got medium-sized ones and big ones. I'll leave a link. These were very inexpensive. These are aluminum. If you love these and you want to just make a ton of round bath bombs, I suggest investing in the stainless steel round ones. These can dent when you whack them with a spoon. you can get a much sturdier stainless steel one. But these have a little flat bottom, so I'm going to put my round bath bombs in here to rotate them to dry. I'll just put a couple out. So flat ones, the round ones, that's all ready. I'll show you my little press here. I've showed this in pretty much all my bath bomb videos. It's just a little lever action. It's adjustable. You can move this up and down. So if you have a really tall bath bomb or a really short bath bomb, and it just kind of saves your wrists. If you're making a lot, it's a little easier on the wrist than hand pressing, but it's, you know, it is what it is. It's not fancy, gets the job done, but you can hand press too, so you do not need one of these. All right, I've got my paper plate to catch the extra fluff. I'm going to put the flour side down, and I'm just going to fill this up. And of course, if you were making these to sell, you should probably throw this on your scale so that you can make sure all of your bath bombs are approximately the same weight. That's just nice because you're going to want to put the weight on the label, but I'm not selling, so I just have it here in front of the camera. My nail poked through my glove, no big deal. All right, so just kind of mound it up, and then I'm going to add the flat side on here and just squish it by hand a little before I pull over my little press. And again, this is totally, if I just sat here and pressed on this, 100% great. You don't need a little press. Unless you're going to be making a lot of these and you have carpal tunnel or one of those issues, then this press might be handy to have. I enjoy it. I feel like it gets a nice even press. So I put this in here and I kind of turn it and I press many times. Probably only takes 3 or 4, but I kind of go overboard because why not? You know, if I'm going to do this, let's just do it. Okay. Now I can't remember if this is the flat side or the flour side. It really doesn't matter. So just put your hands on the bottom and push it up a little. And then I'm going to tap it with my baby spoon. It kind of helps this release. Okay, that's the flat side, and I got a little edge. Let me knock off that. All right, so the flat side, and then I'm going to flip it in my hand and pull this off the ring and tap. And there you go. Look at that beautiful little flower face. Love it. All right, I'm going to set this over here and we'll do a round one. Here's my little round one. Both of the sides are exactly the same bowl size, so it doesn't matter which one you put in, just put one in. And then as high as you mound it, it will get the little Saturn ring around it. If you don't want any Saturn ring, don't mound it too much. If you like a little ridge around your round ones, put it down, you know, mound it up really nice. And it's, if you press it and you don't like it, just crumble it up, throw it back in, and do it again. I love it. This is so accident proof, I guess, or correctable. If you do something you don't like with bath bombs and they're still fresh, just crumble them up, start again. Okay, that's not enough. I want more in there. So I gave it a little press. I didn't like how far it sunk down. I'm just going to throw another little handful in here. There we go. So however much it sticks up is how big the ring is going to be around the middle. And I like a little ring personally. I think they're cute. So there we go. I'm going to take my little thing over and press. I'm going to flip it and press. And this is pressing down quite a bit. I might not get much of a ring. Yeah, it's almost flat. Okay. So I'm just going to tap a little before I start sliding. Here we go. And this is a little fiddly. Kind of just have to hook your nail on the side and push like that. There's not much to hang on to, so it kind of takes a little fiddling, but not bad. And then once it goes up, you can stick your fingers underneath. So, all right. So I just dusted off the excess there. And we'll pull that. Look how pretty that is. I'm going to set this on, flip it, and tap this side. Tap a little more. And you can go on the sides. There. Look at that. Gorgeous. So now I'm going to take my little round holder here and flip it, and they're just going to sit like that and dry, and then I will rotate them. You know, in about 12 hours we'll flip it. So look how beautiful. Love it. These are coming out beautifully smooth. I'll do a couple more round ones and we'll do some more flowers, and then we're going to just let these sit for, like I said, about 12 hours. Then I'm going to flip them over and let the other side air dry for about 24 hours, or about 12 more hours. So 24 hours total. I'll check them and see if they feel nice and dry. We'll come in and do our decorating. Otherwise, I'll just let them sit for another day. It doesn't hurt them to sit now at this point. So 24 to 48 hours later is when we're going to come back and paint them. right, it is the next day and it's time to paint our bath bombs. I'm so excited about doing this. And before we get into how to do that, I wanted to show you the colors we're using today and to be careful because not all micas are good for bath bombs. For instance, I went and grabbed this red color thinking it would be perfect, and I looked and it says for soap use only. But then I grabbed, so that was trial by fire, but then I went and grabbed Red Vibrance and it says safe for lips, eyes, external use, and bath bombs. So Red Vibrance wins the day. That will be the red I'm using. And the same with the gold here. I went and looked and it said not for use in bath bombs. So I went and grabbed this gold that I got from Wholesale Supplies Plus and looked up, and it is safe for bath bombs. So that's just something to look up. And I looked up on Be Scented for this pine mica, and this is also safe for bath bombs. So double check. Usually your mica will say on the label if it's okay, but if not, just go to your supplier where you got it and just double check. So there's that. Now we are going to make our paint, and I am using 91% rubbing alcohol. 70% or 99% will also work for this, but this is what I have on hand. And I've got my little Dixie cups, And everything that I've read, and I've done this in the past, you kind of have to feel the paint. It can get too thick and gloppy. It can get too thin and runny. But approximately 1/8 teaspoon of mica to 1 teaspoon of alcohol is a nice starting point consistency. And then, of course, if you do want it thicker for some reason, you can add more or less. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where we're going to start and mix our colors. And then we will get to doing these for my little bath bomb balls here. They're so cute. And they got a little flat spot on the top last night. This is after I flipped them after 12 hours, they're round, but because of that little thing, which doesn't bother me at all, but I thought it was cute. They got like a little flat spot. I'm gonna take a pipette and just drizzle Christmas colors, holiday colors on the top of these. Pretty simple. I was thinking about trying to do like a Christmas tree, and I'm like, I just want to do random wiggles on there just with the colors to kind of get the theme. But my little flowers we're going to be painting more specific. All right, let's get into these. All right, and I am actually just going to be eyeballing my teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of rubbing alcohol in here and just checking it for consistency. And then, of course, the rubbing alcohol does evaporate pretty quickly. So as we work, if it starts evaporating, we'll just add a little more. It's not an exact science. Pretty poinsettias, they're daisies, but I'm calling it a poinsettia, and we're going to roll with that. Do I want the center to be green or gold? I don't know. Let's do gold here. We'll try that. Oh, there we go. That's pretty. So I'm just sort of dabbing it on there because it's a little. Aw, all right. That looks great. And now we'll get to the petals of our flower. Let's see how this goes. This is a little thick, the red is. I think it might work. It's a little fiddly, but how fun. And again, this would be so fun for children, wouldn't it? Have a little crafty day with them, and you get an awesome bath bomb when you're all done. I love that. And kids love that when they get a little something usable at the end of a project. All right, there we go. Oh, I think these are beautiful. They look very Christmassy to me. So happy with that. Let me get the rest of the flowers painted up, and then we will get to our drizzling over here. I'm just going to add a touch more alcohol to these to make sure they're nice and fluid to do the drizzle. Easy peasy. There we go. And I got my little pipette here. And let's see, we'll go darkest to lightest and see how this goes. I'm going to make a mess, but that's all right. We're just going to do it. And I wanted them in the little bowls here so that I only want one side of them painted. All right, guys, here they are. I am absolutely delighted. What a quick and fun project. I think these are beautiful. I think anybody would be happy to get this for a gift. Wrap them up. I am going to shrink wrap these because that helps keep the moisture out, and if you were going to ship them, it makes them more stable for gift giving. If you're going to drop this down in a stocking and it can get bumped around, I think shrink wrapping really helps preserve the bath bomb. But I absolutely love these. We're going to do a little test with my little mini one, which came out adorably cute. I do have them in the little cups here just to hold them upright so I can show you, but how cute are these? Gosh, I'm delighted. I hope you make some bath bombs this holiday season, maybe with some little people in your life. I hope you tried this recipe, super simple, and they come out great. And have a wonderful day.